And someday the high and the mighty will fall. There will be no power brokers, the wall of power will fall. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metsa. We have a very interesting show for you tonight. Some of you might know, I live in Duluth, Minnesota now, the Zenith City by the unsalted sea, and there were several commemorations of the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Last week, I spoke with a man named Ray Fraboni, who served on the Edmund Fitzgerald in 1969. We're going to start with an interview with him. After that, I'm going to tell you about when I opened up for Gordon Lightfoot, the man who composed and sang the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and what an incredible and magical evening that was. And we will be speaking with another woman from Superior who was at that show. After that, we are going to be talking with two of my favorite Iron Range musicians, Rich Mattson and Germaine Gemberling, who are going to tell me about the new record that Keith Secola put together called Ranger. And they've got 4 shows coming up in the Twin Cities area, and they're coming up to Duluth to play as well. So we're going to be listening to a little music, including a song by my younger brother, John Metsa, of all things, after we talk to Ray and Miss Seagraves. First, here is Ray Fraboni from Virginia, Minnesota, an old friend of mine who served on the Edmund Fitzgerald in 1969. Ray Fraboni, how are you this morning?
Wonderful, wonderful. It's a little overcast, but we can see the blue skies down south.
Beautiful. Well, Ray and I grew up the Queen City there in Range, Virginia, Minnesota. And Ray, with a handful of his buddies, Michael Reardon, Jed Hayner, Rodney, and Roy Jackson, and the rest were kind of the first hippies that came to town and tried to corrupt the rest of us. But he's actually straightened out his life. Now, Ray, I was talking to my buddy Kelly Hotchkiss, did you have a bookstore with Jed and Peggy?
Yes, the Renaissance bookstore.
Right. That was right on 3rd Avenue, right off Chestnut Street. Now, Kelly reminded me, I remember when we used to go there, you had a waterbed in the middle of the store.
We did. We also sold waterbeds.
I'm glad you sold waterbeds instead of just having one there.
That's a good combo. Well, let's see, how can we make money? We sell books, and then somebody said, and waterbeds.
That'd be Peggy.
That's better than having a couch in your store. You just grab a book and go on the bed, right?
They did, yep.
Well, Ray, we really appreciate taking time to speak with us this morning. So you served on the Edmund Fitzgerald in 1969. Tell us how you got the job.
Well, I was going to UMD, living with Michael Reardon in an apartment, and was watching the boats go by. He says, you can go down to the lake carriers and get yourself a seaman's card, and he says the rest, just do that. And so I went to the lake carriers, and Jack, I remember his name, he had to sit there every day, and there'd be 5 or 6 other people there waiting to get on a boat. Some were deckhands, some were wheelsmen, some were oilers. But it was my turn, and I happened to have a seaman's card, and he said, okay, you're going to take the pride of the lake, Ray. You're lucky. Up in Silver Bay, go pick her up. It's the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Wow.
So Michael brought me up there and brought me right to the dock, drove right up. I got out, and I said, where's the boat, Mike? He says, that's it right there. The ballast was all pumped out, so it was way out of the water. It looked like a huge steel wall. And the deck watch throws down the line, tie up your duffel bag. And so I tied up and pulled it aboard, and Mike said, I'll be seeing you.
Wow. What do you have to do to get your seaman's card? Do you have to take a test? Or
just a physical.
Wow.
That's all you need. You start off at the lowest level. You'd be either a wiper, that means a coal passer if it's a coal-fired boat, or if you're on the forward end, you'd be a deckhand. So I was a deckhand.
Wow. Well, last time I bumped into you at the food co-op there in Virginia, you still look like you're in shape, like you were just got off the high school football team.
Yeah, right.
So tell us what was a day in your life on the boat?
Well, they got you up early in the morning, had breakfast, went down to the galley, had breakfast. Then when you're underway, you just chipped and painted. You chipped all day. You chipped in the tunnels. You chipped outside the boat, everywhere. The hatch covers, that's what you did. You're painting pretty much all day. Then when you got up to the Sioux, they threw you over on a bosun's chair, dropped you down to the docks, and grabbed the line and walked the boat through the Sioux. And then when you got through the Sioux, later on in life, I would know that the captain always honked his horn, giving the captain's salute at his relative's place, about 2 miles downbound out of the Sioux. And the flags were kind of tattered and torn, so I went and clapped, we need new flags. Why we need new flags? They're tattered and torn. And we're going by your relative's house, and it'd be nice. He says, what'd you do with them? I says, I put them in my duffel bag. And he says, from now on, you give them to me. And I says, yes, I'll always remember that, Cap. So I got the flags off the Edmund Fitzgerald, the Columbia steamship flag, and the Canadian flag. I took all three of them.
Wow.
And I fly them every so often on November 10th at Grand Marais at the Coast Guard station. I've been doing that for a whole bunch.
Well, good for you, man. So how long, so tell us what you took off, you picked it up at Grand Marais, but usually would sailors board in Superior and then to do the journey?
Yeah. Well, wherever the boat docked. It docked.
Okay.
When I was on there, it was like a milk run from Toledo, Ohio to Silver Bay. Every 5 days you were in Silver Bay. Every 5 days you were in Toledo, Ohio. And that's where you picked up your, if you needed any people. And remember one time we were coming through Detroit, right by Detroit, and a boat comes by, and you scream down, 3 Detroit Free Press, and can't remember the other magazine paper. And we'd pick up the papers, and one of the headlines said, Canadian boat makes new record for hauling tonnage. And the Fitz was made to break records. So Peter P. Pulser, the captain at the time, said, break that record. No, they called him and told him, break that record. We came back to Toledo, topped off, scraping our ground through the Sioux locks. You could see the mud coming up. And the Corps of Engineers people there said, your watermarks are way low. You're too deep in the water. What's wrong? A second mate said, we're pumping out our ballast tanks. We had water in our ballast. Okay, go through. Fitzgerald breaks the record.
Wow.
Peter P. Pulser got a call that day and said, now break that record. And we did.
Wow, that's a ballsy captain.
Yeah. He always bragged that he had a third-grade education, but he knew how to handle an oarboat.
Wow.
He spent his whole life, and he knew what he was doing.
Did you run, Ray Fraboni, did you run into any really difficult seas and water while you were traveling on your 3-year journeys?
Oh, yeah.
Edmund Fitz?
Oh, yeah. I was in 23-foot waves, and that's the old-timers, like, is this a bad storm? Oh, no, this isn't bad yet. Oh, no. No matter what storm, oh, no, this isn't bad yet. But I remember on one particular storm, the waves went on. You could see in a long way away the white just picking up and the wind ripping the top of the waves off. And it looked like an endless, whatever it looked like. And I grabbed the rail, and the lake is alive. The lake said to me, this is what I am.
Wow.
This is what you are.
Right.
Yeah, I get you.
Right.
It is alive. It really is, I think.
Now,
it has a spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you, do you get seasick at all, or did you have to take any medication?
No, I never got seasick. I don't know. I should have, but I never. I got car sick when I was a kid, but I didn't get seasick.
Wow, crazy. Ray, we appreciate you taking your time. I want to ask one more question before we have to go to break. Did you know any of the sailors that remained on the ship that went down in 75?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I knew the wheelsman and the third engineer, and probably a couple others, because usually you stay with the boat for a while. But yeah. John Simmons, a good guy. He was always nervous, and he'd take his food from the mess hall, and he'd go out and he'd chew a bit and he'd spit it out. John, why are you on this boat? Why do you keep doing this? It's the only life I know, he says. I thought, whoa, hope that's not karma.
Wow. So how long were you on the Fitz? What was your stay?
I came on in April, and I left in September. I went back to school.
Wow. Well, we are remembering our friend Mike Reardon, who also served on that ship. And
he's a good wheelsman.
Yeah, and all of the 29 that went down. Ray Fraboni, this has been just some great insight, and thank you for your service on the Fitz. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll look forward to seeing you when I'm back up in our hometown.
Okie dokie. You stay well.
Okay, you too, Ray. Thanks so much.
Bye.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metsa. Now we are going to be talking about an incredible evening that myself and my guest Dawn Seagraves experienced in 1997 at Connors Point in Superior, Wisconsin, when I opened up for Gordon Lightfoot. Now, Gordon Lightfoot to me was my Bob Dylan before Bob Dylan. I revered the guy. My sister Kathy brought home the record Lightfoot when she was going to school at St. Scholastica in Duluth when I was 12 years old, and I fell in love with it. I've been playing for years and following Gordon's career. I saw he was playing in Superior. He had played in Duluth several times over the years, but never in Superior, Wisconsin, where, of course, the Edmund Fitzgerald sailed out of on its last and final voyage. My friend Tracy Lundeen was booking the show, and they just so happened to need an opening act, and so there I was. I'm going to read just a paragraph from my book, Blue Guitar Highway, that describes part of that evening, and then we will talk to Dawn Seagraves. This is page 162 on Blue Guitar Highway. This is when I was asked to play 5 songs from the book. I played 5 songs, and my set came just under a half hour, my allotted time. My ex-girlfriend's parents were there, and I took a seat behind them, waiting for one of my first heroes to take the stage. From our vantage point, we watched the lights of Duluth just beyond us to the north slowly light up. A light fog drifted in from the bay just as the dusk dropped, connecting it all like an altar boy walking on terrazzo tiles of an old church, swinging copper bells of incense while the priest is in the sanctuary putting on his robe. He came out to amazing applause. That was the book. Now I'm speaking. Came out to amazing applause. But right before when he started to hit the chords to the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, there was a foghorn like a ghost ship that came out of nowhere, and there was no ship in the bay. When he got done playing the song, I swear to God, there was 29 seagulls representing each sailor that went down in that ship that flew over the stage. It was truly a magical experience. I was not the only one to experience that. And now we are speaking with a lovely lady who I met at the Gordon Lightfoot show at Connors Point in Superior, Wisconsin in 1997. Dawn Seagraves was a longtime Gordon Lightfoot fan. I'd seen him several times. And I believe, Dawn, you actually met Gordon at his place in Toronto.
Yes. Actually, my sister and I met him in Duluth initially in 1978. And shortly thereafter, she and I were at that time in the music business, and we decided to just go visit him, which we did.
Wow.
And hopped on a plane north central out of Duluth and flew into Toronto. So that was my initial Lightfoot interaction, was meeting him, and so then I followed him.
I gotta ask you, Don. So you actually went to Gordon's apartment?
His house. It was at 5 Beaumont. He has since sold it, but yeah. It was cool. It was very cool.
I love the guy.
And so anyway, so by this time, I'm pretty sure the Edmund Fitzgerald had been released. And I have a connection with that song. I was 15 at the time when the Fitz went down. And that was the night I told my dad that I was pregnant. So myself and my oldest daughter, who was at that concert when we met you, we kind of have that connection just as a memorial type thing to the Edmund Fitzgerald. That was when I told them. But yeah, that night when you came and sat with us, and he had started playing a few songs, and then when he started to play the Edmund Fitzgerald, and the sun was setting, you could see, the sky was kind of pink, and that was the backdrop of the stage, and then all of a sudden he's singing the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and soon there is a ship's horn that we heard from directly behind the stage, but there was no ship. Right. And I remember the three of us kind of looking at each other like, did you hear that? Am I crazy? There's no ship. And I had forgotten about the seagulls until you mentioned it the other day, when they just kind of erupted from behind and flew over the stage.
Right as the song
and yeah, it was a wow moment. I mean, how do you even describe that? To me, it was an acknowledgement, in a sense, a spiritual acknowledgement to the words in his song.
You know what's interesting, Don? Now, and you and I chatted before to get this interview together, but the Fitz actually went out on its first voyage on June 7th, 1958, which just so happens to be the day Prince was born.
Oh, wow. That I did not know.
Yeah, so there's a lot of births and Edmund Fitzgerald connections here. But
there's another sorry to interrupt. There's another cute little factoid that the song you hear, when you hear this on the CD, on, whatever you got on iTunes or whatever, what you hear is the first take. That was the first time they played that song together, and they couldn't improve it.
No.
They tried. They went back to try, but they said there was no point because everything was perfect.
That point when he went into it was about midway through the set, and when he hit those opening chords, the foghorn, blasted out, and then the lights of Duluth were just coming up. It was like you were in a cathedral. You were outdoor cathedral.
Yes, absolutely. And I remember you telling my daughter, take a picture of this because it was such a beautiful sky. Everything was just, the colors and everything coming together was magical.
Did she get a picture?
She did, but it was a cheap digital camera back then, and it didn't turn out like we were seeing it with our eyes, of course. But she tried.
Have you ever bumped into people over the years that were at that show that witnessed what we did?
Only you.
Wow. I bumped into another person a couple years ago that had that same experience. So we are not insane.
That's cool. I'm glad to know that, because that moment, I remember looking around, wondering if the other people attending, am I crazy? Did they hear that? Did everybody get to experience this?
Well, it was a very special night. What was really incredible, the whole evening was incredible, because Gordon was my first real folk music hero. Manager, his first name was Barry. I forget his last name.
Yes.
I
I know that too.
Barry, there was a guy helping me set up, and I thought he was with the production crew, and he helped me get plugged in. And I said, "Geez, that's really nice. Are you with the production crew?" And he goes, "No, I'm Gordon's manager." I go, "Wow, how cool is that?" So at the end of my set, he came up and he said, "You want to meet Gordo?" I go, "Absolutely." So I went back to that little trailer he was in. I've got a picture of it I'm looking at right now. And Gordon goes, I sang 5 songs. He goes, "I like the first one, the third one, and the fifth one." And I go, "Man, I'm batting 600 with Gordon Lightfoot."
Yeah, we were backstage too at the time. I remember talking to you. We were supposed to meet at Molly's afterwards, but you didn't show up. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun through the years with him, backstage, and there were a couple other opening acts that he had that we got to know and have fun with. But he definitely was a special person. He has been. I was into songwriting back in the day, and that was my idol because of the way he could say things with his words and how he could craft a song and bring you into it, regardless of what the subject matter was.
And
I always admired that.
There's a great documentary on him. There's also a beautiful picture you can Google. He was very good friends with the golden retriever that belonged to one of his lead tech guys.
Oh, yes. Oh, and when it was laying down by his casket.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It brought tears to my eyes.
I know. That just pulled at the heart right there.
Let me ask you, Dawn, we just got a few minutes left. What was Gordon Lightfoot's house like?
I'll say it's nice. We walked in, he had there was a plant room, and I think that's where his piano was, and he had the fireplace. We were in the living room at a round Egyptian table. We had a few cocktails and then went into the kitchen. And so I didn't see, a whole lot of the house other than pretty much that in the bathroom. But no, it was very nicely done and thoroughly elegant, but comfortable at the same time,
If I could go back in time and have a cocktail with Gordon Lightfoot, my life would be complete.
Right. And I'll tell you, so at the time I was drinking screwdrivers, but he ran out of orange juice, and so he offered to make me another vodka drink, basically. And it was one I had never had, and I know he had, later I figured out he had put blue curacao in it because it had this kind of blue tint. And later I asked the bartender, I said, hey, if I tell you the ingredients, can you tell me the name of the drink? And I did, and I hope you're not censored, but he said, that's a blue And I'm like, okay.
We're
and
censored.
he says, actually, we're censored?
Well, we'll censor that, but yeah, people get
Well,
the point.
okay, Blue Screw. How's that? Blue Screw?
There we go. Do a little editing.
Because that was supposed to be the female way to order it.
Blue Screw. Well, Dawn Seagraves, this has been a wonderful chat. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon when you get over to Duluth. I'm at Carly.
Yes, definitely.
Every Friday
We'll,
from
now
5:30.
Now that I've got your number, we'll get together at some point. I still got to have you autograph your book for me anyway.
For sure. Bring it, and I'll meet you at the bar. We'll have a couple of blue screws.
Sounds good.
Have a beautiful weekend, Don.
Okay, you too, Paul. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. And all that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters.
Welcome back to the Walnut Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metsa. I had a great Thursday afternoon up in Sparta, Minnesota, a suburb of Eveleth, Minnesota, at Sparta Sound Studio with my good friends Rich Mattson and Germaine Gemberling. I was digitizing a Cats Under the Stars 1982 45 RPM single. The A-side was Louie Louie, backed with a song I wrote called Blue Ghosts, that we are re-releasing for the Cats Under the Stars 28th anniversary on December 28th at the Parkway Theater. Tickets are on sale as we speak. As I was up there, we chatted about the new record that Keith Secola put together called Ranger, which includes several Iron Range songwriters, including Germaine Gemberling and Rich Mattson. And here's my conversation with them, and we'll listen to a little music as well. I am delighted to be at Sparta Sound in Sparta, Minnesota, a suburb of Eveleth, with my good friends Rich Mattson and Germaine Gemberling. Rich has a great studio up here called Sparta Sound. I just did a little digitizing of a Cats Under the Stars 1982 45 RPM. We did a reggae version of Louie Louie and a song of mine called Blue Ghost that we will be releasing ahead of the December 28th Parkway Theater show, the 50th anniversary end of the year bash with my band Cats Under the Stars. But speaking of Iron Range music, Rich and Germaine were part of a project called Ranger that was spearheaded by our good friend Keith Secola. Germaine, what is this record all about?
Well, this is a great collaboration between players up on the Iron Range of consisting of members that used to play in a band with Keith for, 50 years ago.
The Schwartz Brothers.
That's right. And
featuring my brother John.
That's right. And so we got John Metsa, Dan Boyer, Steve Martinetti, Keith Secola, and Sharon Rowbottom, of course, the lovely Sharon.
Oh,
they were
love
part of.
Sharon.
Yes, we do. And
say Dan Boyer?
I sure did. And so they were of that group, and so they are involved. And also, of course, Rich Mattson, myself. We had Timmy Saxhog from Trampled by Turtles joining us on the album. We also have Rosemary Behrens. She is just an amazing, powerful artist. You're going to love her song. We also joining
Tim
us
Wright.
had Tim Wright. Yes.
Bimmer.
Yeah. Very talented.
I went to my father bought my brother and I each a triplex of the north side of Virginia years ago. Of course, I had no interest in being a landlord at the time, but I did go up to keep an eye on it, and I went there one day in the summertime, and Bimmer was living in the garage. And I bump into him every now and then in White Bear Lake where we move. But God bless that guy.
He's
so
cool.
how did this record come about?
Well, Keith had this idea. He told us about it a couple of years ago. I want to make an album called Ranger and call the band Rangers, and it's going to be consisted of musicians from the Iron Range. And we've been backing him up for some shows. Germaine and I, and Chris Petrak on the drums.
Yes, Chris. Great drummer.
North Star's bass player Kyle Westrick was part of the band too. And well, anyway, Keith would always bring this up, this Rangers project, and finally we made it happen.
Wow.
Over the past year, we had a few sessions here, and everyone contributed a tune, and it's finally coming out.
It is.
It's seeing the light of day.
And you've got 4 shows coming up next week. Tell
We
us
sure
where those
do.
are.
Let me tell you where those are. It's going to be great, and we really hope that you can join us. So on November 20th in Virginia, Minnesota.
That's Thursday.
That's a Thursday. We are performing at Chair, but otherwise known as the Lyric Center. Doors are at 6, shows at 7 to 10, and we're hoping everyone can be there. Tim Saxhog's in Japan, so he won't be joining us, or he will be. But as many of us will be there as we can. The next night, November 21st in Minneapolis at the Hook and Ladder. And
Friday.
That would be a Friday. Thanks, Rich. And doors at 7, show at 8 till
At the Hook and
11.
Ladder.
At the Hook and Ladder Theater and Lounge. Come out and support that place.
Yeah.
They need you more than ever
One of our
now.
favorite
Us,
venues.
all of us, we love that place. November 22nd in St. Cloud at the St. Cloud State Atwood Memorial Center.
That's Saturday, November
Yep,
22nd.
Saturday, yep. And doors are at 7 at that. November 23rd on a Sunday in Duluth at the West Theater.
I am going to be there.
Yay.
I'm bringing my guitars there next year.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
Yeah, you
doors
should
at
jump up there with
6
us.
and show at 7 p.m. But you'll see
Absolutely.
more on social media all about that because we're going to be talking a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the album is coming out, and lots of great people behind that. The Boys Fort Tribe.
Rangers on tour.
Yes.
It's going to be something else.
Scary.
Oh
Actually
man,
scary.
Yeah, I'm shaking in my boots.
Yeah. George Strong is a huge part of this.
He's the producer.
KBFT
executive producer.
is presenting this, and the Boys Fort Band of Chippewa Indians are presenting this whole release for us. So it's a proud thing. And Keith is, he's spearheading and leading this project, and
Yeah.
we're
Keith
so
is the
happy to be a
producer.
part of it. He's the producer,
And
Rich is
most
the
of-
engineer.
and it was all recorded here at Sparta Sound.
Yep.
Yes.
Let's listen to a track. Let's grab one of Secola's numbers. What will we be hearing next, Rick?
This tune is called "King Without a Crown," Paul. And when you
got
put out your song, we said, "Whoa,
Yeah.
how about that?"
Great minds think alike.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly right.
All right, we're going to listen to a
Synchronicity.
bit of this, then get back with Germaine Gemberling and Rich Mattson.
Story about a king without a crown, and how he got to be the peasant king. He taught the javelinas how to sing, came up with the wake-up call, shouting out to one and all, a sound the javelinas can't resist. The battle cry goes like this. Whoa, 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 He's running from a crowd, but no one's chasing him. No choir singing hymns. Glory to the King. No subjects in the town. No servants serving him.
where the king can be found, singing to the underground. He's a king without a crown. He's a king without a crown. Without a crown, he's a king without a crown.
Rich Mattson and Germaine Gemberling. All right, we're back. Tell us, how long did this project take from beginning to end?
Well, we had a couple full sessions where we spent really the whole entire day, got together at about 11 in the morning and went into the evening.
I think there were 2 or 3 of those sessions.
Yeah, there were like 2 or 3.
People were just coming in and out, and
yeah,
we'd work on one song at a time and
break and have dinner and come back. But yeah, we really went at it. It was amazing to get everybody here at the same time.
Well, this is such a the band, of course, recorded at Big Pink, music from Big Pink, their first record, classic record. I've been talking to you, Rich, about Cats Under the Stars coming up here and recording, and I call this music from Big Green up here.
Yeah.
Because, man, you walk outside the doors of this studio and where Rich and Germaine live, and it's like you are in northeastern Minnesota.
Yeah.
What a beautiful vibe.
Yeah.
Now, how did the dog Dotsie handle with all the coming and going?
Oh, there was a lot of barking. Actually, Steve Martinetti had a song called "Dog Party,"
and Dotsie's featured.
and Dotsie is featured,
and
so she got
sure
her own
did.
track.
And part of it,
you know what? It's funny because I'll play that song in the car, I'll play it in the house, and she's like, "Yep, that's me."
Yeah.
At first, she was a little freaked out by it, but she's pretty used to it.
She especially was, because the chorus, Steve wanted everybody to come and start barking, all the people, and she just stood and looked at us like, "What are you doing?" And she then she stopped barking. She's like, "Oh."
I've heard a chorus of Iron Rangers barking, but it's usually right around last call at any bar on Chestnut Street in my hometown of Virginia, Minnesota. Let's talk a little bit about where are Rich. What you've been. I've never caught your show Tired Eyes, the Neil Young tribute with Alan Sparhawk. Where's the next one? Is that where you will be performing? I've got to see it.
We don't have anything lined up right now for Tired Eyes, but probably spring or summer. We only do it a few times a year. Well, because we're all busy with our original projects and other things, and we'll get it going probably in the summer.
Germaine, I can ask you, you're originally from Ely, right?
Nope, I was born and raised in St. Paul, Minnesota. Okay. St. Paul, Minnesota, in Mac Groveland area over there by McAllister College.
Sure, love that area.
And then, I moved to Minneapolis as soon as I could and got involved in all the music scene there.
You crossed the Berlin Wall.
Yes. And then in 1998, moved to Ely, Minnesota, lived there for 13 years. Then I moved in with Rich in the fall of 2010.
Wow. 15 years.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Let's listen to another track, if I could, a little nepotism here. my brother John, who's always been a really good musician, but spent his life in education and then running a lodge, the Grey Wolf Lodge, with his lovely wife, Carol.
Love Carol.
Came back out of the woods, so to speak, to record and tell us about this song that Johnny Cakes wrote. Is it Johnny Pancakes? What do you guys
Johnny
call it?
Cakes. I don't know. The girls started calling him Johnny Cakes.
This is something I guess somebody else had thought of many years ago. I was new to it,
But this song is called "The Sunny Side of Life."
Wow!
And it's a real uplifting number by your brother John, and I was really impressed with this tune. It makes you smile.
I think this will be. Now he owes me, because this will be the worldwide radio debut of John Metsa's song, Sunny Side of Life.
On a gray windswept highway that lies on the road ahead, I'm heading for the sunny side of life. Gonna see some of my very best friends and the love of my life tonight, that's living on the sunny side of life. Well, don't look back, oh no, there's nothing there. What's now is now, and then was then. Let's live on the sunny side. Let's live on the sunny side of life. I've been thinking a lot lately, I guess about time I did, about the crazy things that those crazy people said and did. Don't really know what I'm gonna do today, or tomorrow, or yesterday, but I know I'm coming home to you. Don't look back, oh no, there's nothing there. What's now is now, and then was then. Let's live on the sunny side. Let's live on the sunny side of life. Well, life's been but a blur for, well, quite some time. Seems like my past and present, they're about to collide. I gotta recharge my batteries and lighten up my load and take a ride on the sunny side of life. Well, don't look back, oh no, there's nothing there. What's now is now, and then was then. Let's live on the sunny side. Let's live on the sunny side. Come on, let's go for a ride. Nothing there. What's now is now, and then was then. Let's live on the sunny side. Let's live on the sunny side. Oh, yeah. Let's live on the sunny side. Let's live on the sunny side. Join me. Let's go. Come on. Sunny side.
Thanks for listening to the Wall of Power Radio Hour, on the air for 14 years on AM 950. This show is produced by Paul Metsa, engineered by Patrick Lilia. We'd like to thank our guest, Ray Fraboni, Rich Mattson, Germaine, Gemberling, and Dawn Seagraves. I got a big show coming up with Cats Under the Stars. We are celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we got the 7-piece band put together for a big show on Sunday, December 28th at the Parkway Theater. Tickets are on sale now as we speak. You can follow me at paulmetsa.com. And like my dad used to tell me, remember to be kind and make someone happy.